Hey everybody, it's time. Go get your snack, get your hydration, and get ready for Phenomenal Woman Rise Up with Terry K. Brown.
Hey, there I am. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Phenomenal Woman Rise Up with Terry K. Brown. Before we get started, I just want to welcome you guys and also ask you to like and subscribe to my channel because we are trying to get those numbers up. How y'all doing today? Woo! It has been a week. It has been a week, but we made it. Everybody made it through this week. So, welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Terry K. Brown, and I am your host tonight. I also produce the show. I am so glad you joined me. I just am excited about today because we have some history we're going to give y'all today. It is always good to learn some history. You know that tomorrow is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Well, we celebrate it tomorrow. And I'm just going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But first, we're going to do a little current events, and we're also going to talk about self-care today. But I do want to talk to you guys about this weather. What's up? I'll be talking about the weather all the time. I'm like, oh my God, why is it so cold? And people always look at me like I'm stupid. And they say, it's January, Terry. You live in Cleveland, Terry. But somehow in my mind, it doesn't have to be cold and snowy every January in Cleveland. Why can't we just have some sunshine? Sunshine would help my continence so much. I would just love a little tiny bit of sunshine. Is that too much to ask? I'm going to pray about that, okay? Because everybody thinks I'm crazy because I complain about the weather in Cleveland all winter long. I mean, like 2 days after Christmas, I'm complaining about the weather. If it's snowing, and especially if it's cold and oh, having a little technical difficulty. I am actually live tonight, y'all. I am live. I put my big girl drawers on tonight and I'm doing a live show. So if there's any glitches, just blame it on my head, not my heart, because I'm learning how to do new things. That's one of my mantras for 2023 is learn how to do new things and leap a little bit. Stop making them little baby steps. I want to leap. I want to thrive. I want to be someone that other people look at and say, that girl is really a thriver. That girl is going places. Well, that woman is going places because I'm way past girl stage. All right. So, all right, I'm just going to get on into the self care segment because I am not keeping y'all long tonight. I know those football games are on today, and y'all women like football too. I like football, and I want to see this last game. What y'all think about them games lately? It's like the wild card games. I don't know. The teams, sometimes I think they let too many teams play in these wild card games because they either get totally whooped or it's just a back and forth, and it's not really interesting until it gets to the actual playoffs. Now, I want to get me some good food together, get me some good popcorn, and I like my snacks and watch the good games where it's like down to the last minute. That's when you see the professionalism in those football players. If it goes down to like the last minute, and literally a game can be turned around in the last minute. Now that's playoff football, okay? I love it. Okay, you guys got your hydration? Look at my Sarita Jakes home. My little tumbler. Last week I had a tumbler from my OG Lolo. I loved it. And tonight I'm showing y'all my Sarita Jakes home tumbler. I got this when I went to the last Woman Thou Art Loose conference in Atlanta, Georgia last year. If y'all know, it's going to be Woman Evolved from now on. In fact, the conference is going to be in Dallas, Texas this September. So you better go on and get your ticket if you want to go. Sarah Jakes has taken over the conference. And from what I heard when I was there over watch night, Woman to Woman is going to be with Sarah on this first conference. And from what I also heard is that Woman to Woman is collaborating with Woman Evolve and doing Friday night sets where they're talking and informing. And you know, that's what phenomenal women do. We educate, we empower, and we engage with the community. You know, I had to throw that in there. But that's what we do. So I got my hydration. And, you know, I suggested y'all get a snack, but you know, I can't eat no snack because I'll be munching, dropping food and everything. So if you have your hydration and you have your snack, we're going to get started with the self-care aspect. Now, it's winter. And like we talked about last week, a lot of people have decided to either lose weight or to eat better or to do whatever. I got a transformation. I look like a mature woman now, but I still wear my ponytail, you know, ask my husband. But I'm trying to do some things differently. And one of the things that I'm trying to do for 2023 is care for myself. It's called self-care. There are several different aspects of self-care, and Phenomenal Woman Rise Up we're diving into learning how to care for ourselves. In fact, Phenomenal Woman Rise Up is putting together a self-care aspect that we're going to be promoting all year long. And then we're also going to put something together that you can buy so that you can keep it at home and you can care for yourself and evolve into where it's just a natural thing for you to take care of yourself. Wouldn't that be something? Especially as women, you know, we do everything but take care of ourselves. So these self-care in motion tips are from our first lesson of self-care. And then, like I said, it's called Self-Care in Motion, Lesson 1. So these are just 4 little tips that can help you get started, because that's really kind of like the hardest part, right? Getting started. You know, you see all these videos about do this, do that, and you buy the tapes. Well, I guess don't nobody buy tapes no more, Terry. Okay. It's on your phone. I'm aging myself here, but you get all this stuff and you know it sits like over there somewhere. But these 4 tips are going to help you actually get started. That's why they're lesson number 1. So, the first thing in self-care in motion, lesson 1, is set alarms so that you have enough time in the morning for you. And you have to get enough sleep. I mean, really, quite frankly, the most important thing in self-care is getting enough sleep. And I know it sounds crazy, but for adults, especially like women of age like me, 62 years old, we're supposed to get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep every night. Now, when my doctor told me this, you know, I'm multitasking as most women are. I can't even imagine sleeping for 7 hours straight, first of all, and actually doing it every night. I probably would be a lot more alert and a lot healthier and have a much better attitude if I did get 7 hours of sleep. But that's something I'm going to have to work on because Terry K, I don't remember the last time I slept for 7 to 9 hours, but that's what's recommended. So 7 hours of sleep at least is the goal. So getting a good sleep helps our bodies function properly. I mean, it's kind of like common sense. You know, your mama told you that. Your grandmama told you that you needed a good night's sleep. In fact, as mamas, we've told our kids that you got to get your sleep. You got to get your sleep if you want to grow right. But as women, we tend to not really get no good sleep. But that has to be a priority. Set your boundaries around your time to get some good sleep. Now, the next day you'll feel better. In fact, did you know that our skin sheds during the night? And also when we get good sleep, it gives our digestive system a chance to work, a chance to rest, and a chance to prepare everything from the day for elimination on the next day. And I know it sounds crazy and it might not be something you want to hear, but all these things take place during our rest time. So, rest and sleep is so important in this self care journey. You have to make it a priority. So, for me, getting this rest means that I have to get prepared for the next day, the day before, take my shower, fix my hair so it'll stay under some kind of control all night long. And believe me, I got a lot of different things to try to keep this hair under control. And then I have to wind down enough to actually fall asleep. That's hard for me. I'm a thinker bee. So if you're like me, once you get all this stuff done and you lay down, your mind starts to think, okay, preparation for tomorrow. What do I need to do? I have a project that I need to do at work tomorrow. And Jimmy has to get to his game after school. And it's like you think you're winding down, but once you get in the bed, then your mind starts working. So maybe some chamomile tea might help. There are natural things that you can ingest instead of taking sleeping pills or Benadryl or Tylenol PM. You don't want to do anything like that. You want to try to do something that's going to help you relax. And the old adage, and I know some of y'all preachers out there or some of y'all church folks, because I'm a church folk too, so don't think I'm talking about you. But you might get a little upset when I say this, but pull out your Bible. I guarantee you, and I love the word, okay? It always helps me. But if I pull my Bible out, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be going to sleep in a matter of like 10 minutes. Unless the word gets good to me and starts to convict me about something or instruct me about something, and then I might be up for like an hour. But, most of the time, if you're tired and you've done the preparation before bed, if you pull that Bible out, God will calm you down so that you can go to sleep. Now, for me, if I don't get to sleep by 10 o'clock p.m., I'm not going to be able to get up at 5 o'clock a.m. to start my morning routine in a comfortable manner without feeling like I'm rushing. So it's really difficult for me to get to bed by 10 o'clock p.m. So this is going to be something that I'm going to make a priority for me. So that's the first thing you have to do. Make your rest and your sleep time a priority for you. Girl, you're worth it. And guy, if you're watching tonight, you're worth it too. Because I know my husband is watching. Hey, baby. But I have to get out the door by 6:20 in the morning when I'm working my early shift. So I have to get my behind the bed at night. And that's something that I'm really having to work on. So it's part of my self-care emotion. Lesson 1. The second step is to just take a deep breath in the morning when you wake up. This is self-care. It sounds kind of minute, but when you wake up in the morning, it is so important to breathe in and breathe out. It's a simple step that will get you on a path of calmness waking up in the morning. Set your alarm with enough time that you have this bedtime before I touch the floor time. You know what I mean? It's like you have to have a little bit of time for your body to adjust to waking up. You have to have a little bit of time to give thanks to the Lord for waking you up. And you have to have a little bit of time to, I guess, just talk to God. A lot of people say they pray before their feet touch the ground. But for me, I take that deep breath in and I take it out. I open my eyes and I say, thank you, God, for waking me up another day. I thank God first because some folks are going to go on to glory during the night. So if God wakes me up in the morning, I know He's got something for me to do. So I say, thank you for still keeping me in service. And then I talk to Him, and this is the time of the morning where if you have concerns about anything, you just talk to God about it. Ask Him to lead you today. Order your steps. You don't have to know all the cliches. You can just talk to God. Or you can just meditate, and that just means being still and listen to your breathing pattern. That's God in you. Listen to the Holy Spirit telling you that He's got your back. Because when you're a believer, you have to believe that God has you. Because some days are full, especially if you know in advance that you are going to have a busy, full day, or you have a project that you feel like you're going to have some conflict in, or if you have two or three, maybe five children, that you have to get children A to this, children B to that. And then, God forbid, one of your children doesn't feel well, and then you have a boss that does not have children or does not understand. This is like anticipating the day while you're still laying in bed. I suggest that you take that little bit of time to reassure yourself that God got you. God got you. He really does. He says that, and it's Romans 10, that if you believe in your heart and you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, that He was sent to die for our sins, and that He actually did it, and He rose 3 days later and is sitting at the right hand of God, you have to remind yourself of these things right then when you wake up in the morning. Because the day is full, y'all. The day is full. Every day is full. Even when you don't have or anticipate it being full, if you're going along and you got it going on good, the adversary going to throw some kind of monkey wrench in your way. And so you have to put that full armor on before you put your feet on the floor. I'm just telling you, that is a real important step in the setting self-care in motion. That's step number 2. Now, you remember step number 1 was putting those time boundaries and getting your sleep. And step number 2 is waking up, taking that deep breath, acknowledging and thanking God for your life, and then spending some time talking and listening and knowing and reminding yourself whose you are. Now we're going to move on because I know time is going on. The third step, 3, in setting self-care in motion is drinking at least 8 ounces of water in the morning, the first thing. Now, I keep my Dallas Cowboys. I got a lot of tumblers, y'all. But that's how I keep hydrated. I fill this up with ice, and then I put water in it. And I don't put the water, it's not that much water in it since I fill it up with ice. But it keeps it cool all through the night. So if I have to get up and let the dogs out, or if I have to get up and use the bathroom, I sip my water, and that's hydrating myself. In fact, I'm getting ready to hydrate myself right now. Y'all want to hydrate? Let's take a minute. I needed that. But I keep my water by the bed because when I see it, once I take that deep breath and I thank God and talk to God, once I get up, it's right there. there's no reason for me not to drink it. But an article in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism says that drinking 500 milliliters of water increase the metabolic rate by 30%. So in 8 ounces, which is about up here, that's 240 milliliters of water. Okay, drink that 8 ounces of water first thing in the morning. Get those organs woke up, say, wake up, wake up, wake up. Get those organs woke up in the morning. You've been laying still all night. And in the winter, all that heat, and stuff for those people, that don't like heat. But all that heat just dries out your nasal capacity, your nasal cavity, your mouth is dry. Your body hasn't moved, and that digestive system's been working, soaked up all your juices in there. Drink some water. It'll help you get your day started. And if you're like me, I shower in the morning before I go to work. Some people shower at night and don't shower in the morning, but I shower in the morning, and you have to hydrate before you get in the shower. It'll help you, I'm telling you. Now the last point I'm going to go over before we move on is make a point to incorporate movement in your morning routine. Or if you go to work at night or whatever, in your nighttime routine. If you're not a morning person and rather work out in the evening, at least do some stretches in the morning, because everybody don't want to get up and do no movement in the morning. But just stretch so you can loosen up those joints, so that you can get on a good note to get started in the morning. And if you don't want to do no stretches and you don't want to get on the elliptical like I do, then get in the shower, put on some music, and dance while you're cleaning yourself in the shower. Do a little dance. And that's moving, y'all. That's how simple it is. You got to move. You got to get moving, especially when you're of a certain age. If you don't move it, you will lose it. And I'm telling you, I'm here to testify. If you don't move it, you will lose it. So these are four little simple steps that I gave you that's going into our self-care and motion program. And you guys will be privy to it and be able to get it online or get it in hard copy form soon. But just remember, self-care is very, very important. And if you'd like to see how I started my self-care this week, watch this video and we'll be right back. And we're going to talk about learning about our history. All right, here we go. And y'all don't be laughing at me on this video, even though I did laugh myself. See you in about a minute. Hey, it's Wellness Wednesday, and I'm getting ready to get on the elliptical machine this morning. Yay. Hey, everybody. I completed my 15 minutes on the elliptical machine this morning. Yay! And you know what? I know it was hard. It was hard. But it wasn't as hard as it was on Monday. So I'm hoping that Friday I can do this 15 minutes and not even feel it so that I can move on to a little bit higher levels. But have a wonderful Wednesday. I'm getting ready to go try to make this smoothie and get ready for work. Have a great day. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. You know what? Y'all always catch me dancing to the music. I like music. I like to dance and I love music. But wasn't that cool? I'm telling you, that was the second day of my 3 days working out. And Friday, it was a little easier. That 15 minutes still got me, but I was on that elliptical machine Friday. And when the 15 minutes was over, I was a little sweaty, but I wasn't exhausted like I was on Monday. And it's all about consistency. So I'll be back on that elliptical machine again tomorrow, but I didn't do it on the weekend because you got to give yourself a break, or otherwise you'll get tired of it and your bones will be aching. But we had our home gym put up next to the elliptical machine. So you'll probably be seeing some videos of my husband because he likes the home gym. I do too. But we're just working out together because we're trying to practice self-care. It's just so important. So let's move on to learning about our history. Tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day. Some people have the day off work. Some children have the day off school. In fact, I think all children are out of school. I'm not sure because my children are adults. So I don't regulate where they go on Martin Luther King Day. But Martin Luther King has been taught in schools. I would say I've been out of school for like 42 years, and they didn't teach anything about Martin Luther King when I was in school. I graduated in 1978. All they did was mention him. Martin Luther King was a great man. He fought for equality, yada, yada, yada. And there wasn't a Martin Luther King holiday when I was coming up. And all we knew is that Martin Luther King got shot and killed because he said that everybody should be treated the same. And he believed in nonviolent protesting and marching and trying to just be reasonable with people about the fact that all people should be treated equally. It sounds kind of, I don't know. I don't want to be angry as I talk about this. And I don't want people to think that I'm bringing up the past to start anything. I think that it is important to know your history. And if I were a teacher, I think that I would be championing, especially if I was a Black woman or a Black man. And okay, I'm sorry, African American, but I'm old school. If I was a Black teacher, I believe that I would be championing for Black history to be taught, just like so-called American history, because Black people do not know anything about their history. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm one of those people because I didn't learn anything but American white history when I was in school. And I went to college. I have a bachelor's degree. Well, it's in nursing, but I have a bachelor's degree. And one thing I will say is that when I got my bachelor's degree at Cleveland State in nursing, I had to take some urban history classes. And that's where I learned about redlining. That's where I learned about how people are pushed out of certain areas or pushed into certain areas as far as living. That's how I learned about Carl Stokes and how he got elected and what happened to him once he got elected, how he could not make moves like he wanted to for our people. Pretty much the same thing that happened to President Barack Obama. It's like you get there, but there's so much work that needs to be done, but there's history that we just do not know about. And you can't learn it on Martin Luther King Day. It's too much. It's too much. And you can't learn it in February for Black History Month because we have a rich history. We go beyond Kunta Kinte. We go beyond the whips and the dogs chasing us. We go beyond and I don't want to discredit that history because it is part of our history. But we need to understand why, as a race, Black people kind of aren't looking out for each other, and why we are so easy to be divisive. And it's because of what happened when, as slaves, our people were brought over here, and the history of divide and conquer that was put into place for our people. I mean, the question that goes around my head a lot is, why were Black people the only people in America that were slaves? It just boggles my brain. And then again, when I think about this, I just feel like if we as a group of people that have Black history, African history, if we were to understand that our history goes beyond the whip, beyond the word nigger, beyond all that, then I think that we would just grow and flourish to find out that we are a people of greatness, of kings, of queens, of princes, of developers, of people who have ideas that started with nothing and made them into something great, of surgeons, of teachers, of men and women of the word, nurturers. We are a fabulous people. We have rich, rich history. We didn't just struggle all the time. We have history. But we also need to understand the struggle, because a lot of younger people that are coming up think, well, that was back in the past. It's not like that anymore. It is like that anymore. It is like that still. I'm going to show you a video of a woman named Julia Bell Rogers I talked to. She marched as a young girl with Martin Luther King Jr. She sat in on the meetings with Miss Coretta, as she called her, because Miss Coretta used to sit with the women and Martin used to sit with the men and educate them about the marches and the demonstrations and what we needed to do as a people. What Martin Luther King was all about, it made good sense. It made good sense. He was a man of God. He was a family man. And, all the negativity that is spoken about this man, it just kind of makes me upset, because this man was phenomenal. He was a phenomenal man. His purpose was fulfilled till his death. His purpose was fulfilled. And yeah, we still got a long way to go in a lot of things, but Martin Luther King Jr. and the people that rolled with him are fabulous. There's a long list of people that rode with Martin Luther King Jr. that set standards for us to be able to go in the front of the bus instead of the back. You'll see pictures of it. We had to pay at the front of the bus, get off the bus, go to the back of the bus, get on the bus, and then we weren't allowed to sit down if somebody white needed a seat. Okay, you say, well, Terry, that doesn't happen now. It might not happen where you live. I'm just saying that. As much as things have changed, things have actually stayed the same. We can see it from Washington, D.C. to Little Washington, Pennsylvania. Okay? And if y'all don't know what Little Washington, Pennsylvania, it's a little itty bitty town in Pennsylvania. I know about it because I've been there. I was raised there for a short period of my life. I went to school in the neighborhood where I really wasn't wanted. But because I was in a position to get that education from that school, I got it. And that's something that I feel that was taught to me. I was taught about my history at home because they was not teaching it in the school. So watch this video, listen to the words that Miss Rogers spoke. In this video. And I have so much more that I just couldn't put on because the show can't be for so long. So I hope that you guys listen to this. It's about 6 minutes long. It's not long, but there's a history. There's pictures. There's her telling a story. And you guys just need to watch and pay attention. And I'll come back afterwards. Woo, I know I get involved deeply because I truly believe that Black people need to be proud of who we are. We need to be educated about who we are so that we can know where we're going. Here we go.
Oh, because see, he's being taught. See,
Yeah.
I tell people, hatred is taught. You're not
Yes.
born with it, it's taught.
Yeah.
And so with that, she could come in and she said, why is David crying? I said, ask him. And so I went on and finished folding up my clothes and everything. He's put his shirts on the hangers and stuff. And I said, well, I'm through. And I'm waiting on my money and everything. She said, well, why is David crying? I said, ask him. She went in there and he told her, Mama, Julia told me that people our color, we are crackers. And she come back in there. She says, Julia, why would you tell David that? I said, why would you tell? I don't appreciate you teaching him racism. I said, what?
Oh.
I said, well, what do you call when you tell him I'm a nigger? No, I didn't know how. I said, let me tell you something. I said, the Bible said God made a rainbow. I said, rainbow of colors. So he liked colors. I said, that's what you could have told your child instead of labeling me as a nigger. I said, because according to Webster Dictionary, nigger can be anybody. And she said, I didn't mean. I said, well, then stop telling them things like this. If you don't know, just say I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. I said, but that's teaching him to hate people like us. I said, and everything. I said, but we all belong to God. And so she stopped doing it. So after that, I didn't have no problem with her and everything. As a matter of fact, she told the dean at the college there in Marion and everything. And so she wanted to come. Her husband had a factory, wanted his white shirts ironed.
Oh.
She passed me on, so I started working for her on Tuesday. So her thing was she come in, she had a little, I call them the little peppy little pew, taco dog.
Oh.
She had one of them, okay? And I could tell the dog was
Way
talking.
over in the corner over there.
What? The dog?
The dog was talking, okay?
So you was in meetings
Because
and
when I
everything.
would come,
Getting
the
it
milkman
organized.
come in, they
Wow.
come to the door and put
Yeah.
the milk at the door and stuff like this. And they didn't bark at them, okay?
Oh, God.
But soon as I ring the doorbell and come to the door, oh, he just jumped around, just standing behind her, just barking at me. And so,
Well, they trained the dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, they did. So that's
yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
And so that wasn't really a surprise to me because when we were arrested and went to jail in Birmingham, they had a German Shepherd. Oh, that dog had the prettiest black color.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his coat was just shining pretty black. And the dog name was Nigger.
This was in Birmingham, Alabama.
In Birmingham, Alabama.
And this was in the 60s.
This was 1963.
So that just wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
Because I was born in 60.
Okay, 63, we were arrested and went to jail. And they had the dog there and they was taking pictures of us, what they call the little mugshot.
Mm-hmm.
And the dog was there and the officer says to us, nigger. So everybody went to looking because, we know that's what they
called us.
And so and the dog looked up at him. He said, nigger, watch these niggers. And the dog started growling at us and showing his teeth. And had a mouthful of gold teeth.
Oh, God.
So they let you know what they thought of us.
So when I hear that, now, I'm considered old to a lot of people because I'm in my 60s. Now, when I hear, for me, I hate to hear someone call it, or people call each other nigger. Hey nigga, you my nigga, come on here, this and that. And I know some people feel like, well, if we make it our own word, then it can't be used as in a derogatory way. But I guess because I know the history, and as you're explaining the history of nigger being always a derogatory term, nigger being a dog, nigger being a dog with gold teeth that was used to attack black people, who they called nigger to demean us. It was never, oh, good nigger, or you're a smart nigger, you're a homeowner nigger. It was always used, the word nigger was always used in a derogatory term. So I don't know how it could be used so freely among people like it doesn't mean anything. How do you feel? Do you feel like it could be said without being derogatory?
Well, I think that people think it can be. But my father always taught us, and mother father said, it doesn't matter what somebody call you, because you know your name. It's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. So when I would hear the word nigger, I started laughing, because I know my name was not nigger, it was Julia. So it depends on the person, and if they are really trying to hurt you, or really think that's cool, or let the white man know he ain't said nothing that'll gonna hurt me, because I can use the word too. But that's not a defensive to me. I feel people should be called by their God-given name.
So you don't really...
Like I said, we have so many names. We've been called some everything, but a child of God. But I went to school we were all black. We were not allowed to go to schools with the Caucasians and everything, because they said that we was inferior to them. But I know that God above created us all. Yeah. And so that my mother and father and them taught us not to hate anybody, but to try to get along with people, but don't let nobody just cower you down.
So I really, really hope and pray that as you watch that video, you learned why some people who have come before the younger people now feel so deeply about the use of the word nigger, and I can say it because this is my show. But I know that it's used in song, it's used casually, but for me, I know where the word came from. I'm not saying that you can't change the meaning of it, but I know that if you say that it doesn't affect you, let somebody white call you a nigger if you're black. And you will get offended because deep down it's a derogatory term. So for me, as a black woman, I would not call another black woman a nigger. I would not call a white person a cracker. I don't feel like you should use derogatory terms to talk about another person's race. If I don't like the way you're doing something and you happen to be white, and I say, that white girl did this, I'm not saying it in a derogatory manner because you are white. If you say that black girl did that, at least you're calling me the color of my skin, and you might have a problem with the color of my skin, but you're not calling me a nigger. And that's just how I feel. So I think that just that little aspect of our history, and that little aspect of, that's why I put the definition that's in Webster's dictionary of what a nigger is. And if you just could learn some history about why we were called nigger and why people who used that word used it, then maybe you probably would not use it as cavalier as you do. So that's just a little tidbit of the history. I want to thank Mother Rogers for talking to me. We talked for about an hour and a half, and I can't put everything on, but talk to somebody who's been around for about 80 years, 70, 80 years, and ask them about things and listen, because it's our history. Because I don't think it's going to get taught in school. In fact, I think there's some bills that's going around trying to get our history taken out, the little bit that we have in taken out. I mean, that's probably why people of Jewish culture have their own schools, because they know the importance of teaching their history so that you know who you are and where you need to go and who you need to be, who you are. That's how you learn from your history. So that's the show for tonight. I do have Terry K's tidbit for the end of the show. Terry K's tidbit tonight is learning how to love the person that God made you to be is very, very important. Nobody is the same as another person. Our fingerprints prove that. We are all individuals for a reason. We are individually made for a reason. We have to learn, excuse me, we have to learn to embrace our individuality at the same time receiving everybody together as one. And that's going to take some work, people. There's a lot of things that go down every day. I don't understand the killing thing. It's beyond me. I can't figure out how to solve it, or I would, but we have to learn how to love each other some kind of way, because we're all going to be here. God hasn't decided to stop making a certain race of people, and he hasn't decided to stop making people, period. Thank God. So we're going to have to learn how to love the person we are first, and then it would be a little bit easier to love somebody else, because we are all in this together. I am in the health field, and I'm going to tell you, I've seen people born into the world, and it's all the same process. And I've seen people leave out of this world, and it's all the same process. There's no distinction between race, color, anything like that. So my tidbit is to learn to love yourself first so that you can love others. So I will see you guys next week. Remember those self-care tidbits. It's 4 things. Set some boundaries with your sleep. Drink your water. Get a little movement going. And the most important thing is to spend some time in the morning to thank God for waking you up and to help you figure out what your purpose is for the day. So I will see y'all next week. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like, and check us out at 8 o'clock next Sunday. God bless you. I love you. Have a great week. Stay warm. And I hope you guys see some sunshine. I know I'm going to be looking for it. Good night. See you next week.